Hey guys, this is your boy DJ Wolf. This is DJ Wolf Live. Um, yeah, I'm coming to you live from the Southern Maryland studios this morning here, out here in the DMV. Yeah, we're going to talk about this because Jussie Smollett, and here's my thing. Although I will admit, he did get off. There's no question about that. The sound you hear is me trying to charge my device here so I won't crash and burn on me here. I'll be honest with you. In this case of Jussie Smollett, here's the thing. Yeah, he did get off. Was anybody harmed by it, other than the fact that he didn't let police officers know? Well, I didn't say police officer. I'm sorry. Did he harm anybody by what he did? No. Did it cost the city a little bit of money? Yeah, it did. Was it stupid for him to do what he did? Yeah. Why he did it, we don't know. But I got some observations about why the police chief and Mayor Rob Emanuel, who's leaving office in May after his 2 terms, would decide to go off on the Empire Star about about how he got off. But yet, you have cops who not only murdered unarmed black men unjustly, not only in Chicago, but across the country, along with the media who, let me put it like this. The media itself has been biased in terms of what happened to black men across the country. But what I don't understand is how the mayor and the police chief didn't go off about black men being unjustly murdered by officers and weren't aggressive about that. Because the media is also guilty too, but I'm going to go in that in a second. And I'm going to give you my take on it and tell you what I feel about this whole situation. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is DJ Wolf Live. Truth Talk with DJ Live, the live edition. Let's get it in. Let's go. All right, guys. Let me go ahead and set up right quick. You'll hear a couple noise over here. Wow. A couple things going on. Right now, I'm under the weather right now, so I'm kind of chilling today. I was going to do some music. I was going to do another live podcast. I think I'm going to just do this one because I think this one is, to me, even though it's about an actor who was involved in some mess that got created somehow and he denied it, it needs to be addressed. Because there's an underlying issue here with me that I feel it needs to be talked about. All right, now I'm going to read you part of the story that came out locally down here that actually made, well, you know what I mean. I'm going to post this as well. This is a story that came out last night, of course. Dismissal of Smollett case brings backlash and more questions, which it does. This is from the local news media here. And they were basically saying that prosecutors, they started off where the prosecutor did insist initially that he had faked a racist anti-gay attack on himself in the hopes of that the attention would advance his acting career. That was the initial story that came out. All right, and he said he was. He still says that he was assaulted by two men late night in downtown Chicago while he was going to get a Subway sandwich at 2:00 in the morning. All right, and this is what was really was reported. All right, but somehow or another, abruptly yesterday morning, they decided to drop all 16 charges against the Empire actor and singer. But the thing is, they decided in agreement that he was going to allow them to keep his $10,000 bail money and hand it over to the city. Okay? Now it says dismissal drew firestorm from the mayor and police chief and raised questions about why Jussie Smollett was not forced to admit what prosecutors said they could prove in court, that the entire episode was a publicity stunt. Now, Rahm Emanuel was very upset about the situation. And he appeared to be totally off kilter with what happened. In other words, he was blindsided about the whole situation. And he was quoted as saying he called the deal a whitewash of justice. Really? He calls this deal a whitewash of justice. Now, this is where I'm going to get into the meat and potatoes about this. He also said that Smollett had exploited hate crime laws meant to protect minorities by turning the laws inside out, upside down, and only for one thing, himself. Okay? He also goes on to say, where's the accountability in the system? Now, here's where the rubber meets the road. Now, Rahm Emanuel, mayor of Chicago, been mayor 2 terms. He's been there for a minute. He's asking the question, where is the accountability in the system? You know what I'm getting ready to do next, right? I'm getting ready to get it in. Let's go. All right. Now, this guy is asking about accountability in the system. All right. Where's the accountability in the system? And he goes on to say, you cannot have, because a person's position, one set of rule applies to them, and then another set of rule applies to everybody else. Don't that sound kind of familiar? This is the same guy who was mayor when the 16-year-old young man, Laquan McDonald, I think, was shot multiple times walking down the middle of the street by himself, unarmed. Okay? He didn't try to fire back at the officers or nothing. He was just walking. And they shot him multiple times in cold blood. Alright? Where the fuck was Rahm Emanuel punk ass when that happened? Where did he stand when that happened? Okay? He wasn't outraged about this shit. And the mayor, the police officer, chief, wasn't exactly outraged about it either. You know? Now, think about it, neither was Obama. But that's another story. You know? And it amazes me, man, how these guys pick and choose the conversations and the topics they want to be outraged about. You want to be outraged about a television actor who was allegedly created a stunt. All right? It didn't hurt anybody. To be honest. It might cost the city some money, you know, on that. But that's pretty much it. It didn't hurt anybody. Yet, you guys are harping about this. How come you guys aren't that aggressive when it comes to officers maliciously murdering unarmed innocent black men with impunity? This shit still continues to go on across the country. But the media, I fought the media too, because the media, really, when you know injustice is going on, you would think the media would be on top of that shit, but the media has been slacking. They kind of tend anymore to be really low level when it comes to stuff that's going on across our country now, and even some parts of the world. There was a flood in one of the African regions of Africa that no one knew about, really. They didn't even talk about it. It was Mogambiju, I think. Don't quote me on that. But I know it was a major flood. Barely scratched the surface in the local media. National media, they barely talked about it. If they mention it, they don't, there's certain things they will talk about when it comes to other people of color. So when it happened to people in Africa and stuff like that, you almost never hear about it. So the media is at fault for a lot of bullshit too. They don't cover the stories that need to be covered when it needs to be talked about. They'll address the stuff they want. They feel like addressing when they feel like addressing it. But otherwise, they don't fuck with it. And this is what really pissed me off. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and continue with this. Jussie Smollett, it became a household name in the 5 years he's been on Empire. But they were saying it's unclear if the drop charges will dismiss the taint that follows his arrest last month. He still insists that he's vindicated, by him being vindicated, it may make the. Let me rephrase that. It says, quote, according to the article, his insistence that he had been vindicated may make the entertainment industry cautious about fully embracing him, which is probably true because, if he bullshits his way in that, he might bullshit his way in other stuff too, but I don't know. But it also said defense attorney said that his record was wiped clean of all the 16 felony counts related to making a false report. Now, the feds hadn't commented on the threatening mail that allegedly was sent by him. Yeah, about the death threat, which occurred a week before this mess happened. Jussie Smollett, there's still some issues about I have too, because even though Robert Manuel and the Chicago police chief to me personally, weren't as aggressive as they were on other issues that affected Chicagoans when it comes to police brutality. The feds decided not to comment about it this time, from my understanding. But what I understand is there a lack of aggression when it comes to stuff like this going on with people in real cases. I don't understand it. And, oh my God. Initially, it was something else I wanted to talk about. Somebody who was a woman who had been, and I think that might have been the kicker. Oh, here we go. The prosecutor, the top prosecutor, Kim Fox, who was the doppelganger of Oprah Winfrey, Negro woman from the South, that's another whole story. She recused herself in the investigation before Smollett was charged, citing conversations she had with a Smollett family member. Okay. How do we know that this wasn't an inside job? The article clearly states that. All right? It says that attorney Kim Fox, who was the prosecutor, initially was going to be the prosecutor in the case, recused herself before Smollett was charged, citing conversations she had with a Smollett family member. What does that tell you? That tells you that this case probably was tainted anyway. She could have very much recused herself and secretly, for all we know, might have exposed it to somebody who was actually on the case or was directly involved in it. And therefore, we know people, But whatever's going on, Jussie must have something on somebody because for all 16 charges to be dropped is amazing. But I look at it like this. There's a point to how it also exposed cities like Chicago when it comes to the police, as well as the media, and in some cases social media. Now, I always said and maintained I had more questions than answers about that. But a couple of things that still bother me about this case more than anything. First of all, Jussie Smollett had allegedly got the letter 8 days before this incident that happened downtown Chicago. Then, when the incident happened, he allegedly went to a Subway restaurant at 2 o'clock in the morning to get a sandwich in Chicago freezing temperature in dead of winter at 2 a.m. in the morning in the winterized, windy city. Chicago is known for having strong winds out there, especially in the wintertime, from my understanding. So, a couple questions come to mind. You being allegedly threatened by death threats by males and stuff like that, why would you not have security with you? Because it was reported that he had no security with him when the alleged attack happened. All right? No real witnesses to what happened. I think there supposedly was one witness, but you didn't hear much about that after that. All right? Cameras around the areas where he was allegedly had been walking from the subway all the way back to the hotel. They couldn't find no video of it. All right? The only known injury that he had was the injury to his face. And they said, and really, it didn't look like he was even injured that bad. To the point, I was to a point I almost couldn't believe it. I was like, I don't know. It's just a lot more holes in the story than I'm seeing. Could he have been harassed? Yeah, he could have been harassed. Could he have been assaulted? Maybe not the way that I saw it. Maybe not the way it was presented. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I maintain the fact that maybe some of the stuff was fabricated. Think about it. The same weekend that Jussie Smollett, that happened to him, on the same week, he flew out to California, to L.A., to do a concert. And it made one of the most greatest faux pas I think any celebrity has ever done. This Negro here claimed, quote, "I am the gay Tupac." Who the fuck says shit like that? And not want to be falsely accused of something he did. All that come to play with me. To a point like, even I was questioning. Why would you say that? He never did explain why he claimed himself to be the gay Tupac. That I don't get. So, in other words, I'm not totally sure. I'm not totally sure about the situation. I'm not going to go into extra stuff about it, but the only thing I see now is that the FBI, which is investigating about the letter, has declined to comment on the current case that's been dropped. So I don't know, people. Maybe it's up to you to think about what he did and did not do. We don't know. Did he do it? Did he not do it? There used to be an old saying by his commercial I used to watch, Tootsie Pop. The world may never know. But there's also a lesson to be said too. if you're going to be angry at a celebrity actor who's on a hit television series, who created a hoax, allegedly created a, well, I'm going to say alleged at this point, created a hoax to rile people up. And you get, as an officer, police officer in a major metropolitan city, and the mayor of a major metropolitan city gets upset about an actor who pulled off an alleged hoax. Why don't the fuck y'all get upset when officers kill innocent men of color with impunity? All right? How come you guys aren't putting in policies to punish officers who do this? Okay? Why don't you have the same vigor with that? I damn sure like to see it. I damn sure like to see it. All right, guys, I'm gonna cut a little short because you can hear my voice is like. Hopefully, I can get this better. I'm gonna need to because I'm gonna get into my music later on and all this other stuff. In any case, this is DJ Wolf. That's all I got. I ain't got a little more to give right now, but I will stay on top of this story and other stories in the back burner and give you my take on it. This has been Truth Talk with DJ Wolf, and this is DJ Wolf Live. I'm out.